We are going to find temperatures here settling near freezing. Buffalo, Binghamton. I mean, anyone with a big snowpack here, it's going to be hard to do anything warmer than that today. But look at Pittsburgh. I mean, we're 37 today, 41 in D.C. There's a trend, and that's a trend that we'll see through the week. Now, tomorrow it gets messy because we are going to see that warmer air aloft actually kind of nose in. And for some of us, that's going to mean we start with a little bit of freezing rain. Watching in Pennsylvania, we'll keep an eye even on Interstate 80, but, you know, watching Pittsburgh, yes, you're 42 degrees, but north of there, where cold air kind of gets stuck in the morning, you'll start with freezing rain, and that might extend beyond to about lunchtime or just after. Albany, New York, we're likely to start with some snow. We've got snow showers for you Tuesday and then into the first part of Wednesday, but you notice the temperatures aren't crazy cold. We're in the 30s, and then we change over to all rain. This is the trend that we will see after we get to the second half of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Temperatures are nearly 50 degrees, actually. We see a big warm-up coming. They make a mess of all that snow that actually is on the ground up here in the Northeast. So here we go looking at your Tuesday forecast. This is really when we get Winter Storm Jarvis into the area. Binghamton, Buffalo, Rochester, we all start as snow, but then you see how things quickly then change over to rain. And, you know, there'll be a time where you have some freezing rain potential. That's in the pink, and we'll watch that lift north through northern New York, Vermont, New Hampshire as we get through Wednesday evening. But then again, there's a quick changeover. Once that warm air takes over at all levels, temperatures are going to be warming up. 51 in New York City. Do you see that 60 plus here into D.C.? Alex, I mean, what a change coming to the Northeast.
I mean, that is pretty
to the Chicago metro today, but there's an even bigger concern on the horizon. It's flooding.
Yeah, officials are worried that this week's warming temperatures could help fuel flooding and ice jams along the Kankakee River. WMAQ reporter Lexi Sutter has more.
This is a pretty big thaw that's coming. There's a lot of warm air, and it's not just a one-day thing. It's multiple days, so things will melt.
I mean, already today, look at some of the temperatures. Remember where we were not too long ago. We were talking highs for some areas there in the deep south that were stuck in the 30s. And we still have a little bit of that today, but certainly not as widespread as we've seen.
Today's kind of a transition day. You're not going to feel like it's overall that warm out there today, but boy, will you by Thursday. Little Rock. We've got schools that are either delayed or closed today because of ice, only going to 38. And now we got 58 on Thursday.
Yeah, that's a pretty big turnaround. No doubt about it. Big pattern change on the way here for us. Here's what we've got working our way from today, where we're just starting to build here across parts of the east. Not fully entrenched just yet, but we'll see that change as we head through the latter part of the week. Really firm and in control in the eastern, I'd say, third of the country, and even back towards the middle of the nation. Yes, we got the jet stream dip, but even there, we're not going to be talking about frigid, crazy cold numbers there.
Yeah, the Arctic air is, kind of retreated for now. Temps are going above average. We'll see that across the entire eastern half of the country. Especially, I think, across the Ohio Valley, parts of the Northeast. You're really going to feel some of the biggest differences compared to where we've been.
Yeah, I mean, look at the population numbers here. That'll be looking at highs above average. By the time we get to Friday, that number gets up over 200 million.
What is it, 18 right now in Raleigh? Something crazy like that here. And you look at where we're going. 70s? Yes. By the time we get to Thursday and Friday, we are heading up into the 70s.
I mean, sweating. You will be sweating if you get out there and do any kind of moderate exercise.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Same could be said in D.C., going from those 40s to the 60s by the end of the week.
For the rain and 60s in Atlanta and many areas. How about you guys?
Yeah, I think so. It was pretty brutal out there this weekend. Temps in the teens. Even for Alex?
It's tougher for me, but I will agree. I think we can all agree. Three of us are right there with you.
Yeah. But look, it's only January. We know winter cannot possibly be over, so get ready. There's a lot to go. All right, Mike, thank you for that here. Stay safe out there here. Careful edges of the sidewalks.
Yeah, exactly.
They can get you,
because you're just kind of walking along and you're not even really thinking about it, right?
So that's what I worry about with people. Just, maybe it's fine on the middle of your driveway, but the edge is still icy and you break your wrist.
I saw one social media video where a guy was on his driveway and it was a sloped driveway, and let me just say it did not end well.
Yeah.
He couldn't get back up hardly because it was so slippery.
Right. Sometimes that becomes a little comical, but then, of course, someone gets hurt. It's not. This is sort of a mess out here in Missouri and parts of Illinois, where you've got the pink, you've got some icy covered areas in slick and blue. So even in St. Louis Metro.
Yeah. Got to be mindful of this. And you can see the alerts that are in place from the southern plains all the way up into the Great Lakes region. Watch those two areas where you have the ice storm warnings that are in place where some of that ice could be really adding up to be troublesome. Still reporting some ice around Tulsa. I saw some reports earlier of a little bit over 1/4 inch of ice there from earlier this morning. So decent ice totals already.
Yeah, kids are out of school today. No surprise there. Little Rock, we are now at 34 degrees, but watching your temperature, we were at 33, saw some, north of town, little 32. I mean, so there's pockets of freezing rain here. If you see anything wet here, just assume it's icy because some spots are.
There are some of the totals coming in here. Mill Creek is about the 1/10 of an inch showing up. So 1/10 of an inch, just under a quarter here for us in eastern sections of Oklahoma, with some other totals to come as we work our way through the day, because again, it is still raining, and in some of these areas still below that freezing mark.
Springfield, Raleigh, St. Louis, again, you see all of this advecting in, all this moisture, and as long as temperatures are stuck at freezing or below, you're going to have the freezing rain. There's warmer air aloft, but it's going to take time. It always takes longer, I think, than even the models think for it to fill in.
Cold air just likes to be stubborn, right?
Yes.
It's almost like upper level lows. They don't leave when you want them to leave. By your afternoon, here we go. More green on the map. That's a better scenario here across Missouri down into Arkansas. But look farther to the north, freezing rain potential here tonight into tomorrow morning.
Where we need it the most, actually. So the drought monitor shows us that still in Texas, we could use some rain, especially down here, Austin, San Antonio, still dealing with that drought. We have the exceptional and extreme drought that stretches in Louisiana through Mississippi up into Tennessee. Yes, we got some snow in Tennessee, but we actually could use the rainfall. And we are going to get it this week. Look how we just replaced that drought monitor. Well-placed rain coming in here in some of the areas that do need it the most. 5 to 8 inches of rain from East Texas into northern and central Louisiana. Mississippi, we get a couple of inches of rain. Even up into Tennessee, we get 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. So what happens in our pattern is that this high pressure, the reason why you're so cold in the Carolinas right now here, that kind of anchors, and around it we get this flow of moisture coming in. You can see it right now on the water vapor. Look at all that moisture lifting north. And so as things warm up, we're going to see this be all rain, even up into Arkansas, where I know you're dealing with a little freezing rain threat right now. Even northern Texas has that threat, but everyone's warming up. That's the trend that we will see through the week, and rainfall will be out there, some heavy at times. A couple of lightning strikes even. We see that already. There could be more as we get through the week. Everything is pretty slow moving, so we end up with repeated rounds of rain, and that's how you add up to some of those bigger totals. Possible flash flooding through tomorrow morning, eastern Texas. Then you go from tomorrow morning into Wednesday, and it's still eastern Texas, expanding more into the lower Mississippi Valley. Then Wednesday into Thursday, we bring in the Tennessee Valley and into parts of the southeast. Right now, a lot of that rain heavy at times here, about to head into the Houston metro area. It's been a steady rain around Dallas and down towards Waco. We've had some of the steady rain too if you're traveling I-20 heading into northern Louisiana. And of course, this is lighter up here where we've had the frozen precip. Thank goodness it hasn't been the heaviest. But this down here into Texas is what we're monitoring right now for any concerns of flooding. We'll keep an eye on that through overnight tonight. That then transitions into Louisiana. See how it's all rain lifting up into Arkansas. Another round comes in as we get through Tuesday. Same spots. Get it. This time all rain. Not worried about the snow or ice. We see it Wednesday then again. That round continues. We see the rainfall and maybe even some thunderstorms. We got to keep an eye on that here into the southeast. But by far, I think the steady and heavy rainfall widespread is going to be the biggest threat. And yes, I started off with a drought. We need the rainfall. But when you get too much at once, it does cause problems. We've got rainfall concerns and maybe storm concerns in southeast Texas tomorrow. It's possible we get some severe weather. There'll be lightning, and that's always a risk. That extends into Wednesday. We see that through parts of the southern lower Mississippi Valley along the Gulf Coast, and then again tracking east as we get into Thursday. Have not been that warm here. That's all changing, but because we're cold to start today and we're getting some of that light precip out there, that's been a problem for us across Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, where we've had freezing rain. Memphis schools are closed as well here, partially because of the cold and the snow that we had last week. And I think mainly because actually here, we're not getting a whole lot of precip out there just yet there. St. Louis is getting freezing rain, and that's why your schools are closed as well today. Looking at air travel right now, Here's a look across the nation. Overall, doing pretty good. Now, the precip that we're getting is very light. It's not affecting the major hubs at this moment, but it could today. Because Chicago, you're in line to get some of that frozen precip here, that freezing rain, the worst kind. That's tough for everyone driving, trying to take off an airplane or land an airplane. So this is something we'll have to keep an eye on through the day today when it comes to delays and potentially any cancellations. Now, at the moment, it's been mainly a driving issue across northwestern Arkansas. We've seen roads slick up there, parts of I-40. This is accidents. Fort Smith, that includes you. Little Rock, when watching your temperatures, now, you know, a lot of you are above freezing, but not by much, like 33 or 34. So there will be pockets of spots that are below freezing and that are icy. Be very careful. Just be, you know, as you go out this morning, just know that there could be icy spots. Anything that's wet here until proven otherwise could be icy. It'll change to the afternoon. Temperatures will be warming up and we'll get above freezing everywhere here, including, of course, in Tulsa, where I know you're kind of socked in right now. But then the rain in Texas, that could be heavy at times, and that also could cause some travel issues. Just having rain and hydroplaning on roads going to be a possibility. St. Louis, we've been in freezing rain through the overnight. We still are. This has been continuous here, and we're below freezing, so I'm concerned about your roads here. Once we get through the afternoon, though, you look at the change coming. We're going to lift up that warmer air at all levels of the atmosphere, and we get above freezing there. At that time, though, we're still not. In fact, now into the afternoon, we're getting into places like Chicago and over towards Fort Wayne, where we could have freezing rain concerns for the second half of your day. That could also have an impact on air travel. We'll keep an eye on that, too. I think from Grand Rapids to Lansing to Detroit, it's going to be more of either snow or a wintry mix. Either way, there still could be some issues out there. Temperatures have been cold and remain cold this morning. We'll warm up, but not yet today here. That's going to happen tomorrow. We get above freezing. All right, Alex?
Well, you know, to keep you informed.
The Weather Channel has you covered from coast to coast. We have a new winter storm this morning, Winter Storm Jarvis, and it's bringing that coating of freezing rain out there in Oklahoma and Arkansas. This has been a winter for the South, I feel like.
Yes, absolutely. Although I think, you know, most folks would be enjoying more of the snow variety as opposed to dealing with the ice that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, be careful what you ask for when you were wishing for some winter weather. We've got a lot of alerts out there. You can see them really covering the entire middle part of the country. And it's going to be a changing precip kind of situation.
Yes, and you're hoping for it to change quickly, going from the ice to the rain, which will be happening over the next few hours in a number of areas. But before that happens, got to be mindful out there. Traffic headaches on the roads. Watch for flight issues as well.
Yeah, we can show you actually a prime example of how the weather is wreaking havoc, hanging over. Those areas are going to stay colder and not be able to melt as quickly. That's the challenge that we're going to have from eastern Oklahoma throughout a lot of northwestern Arkansas and in Missouri, where we've got the winter weather advisories and even ice storm warning. We've got a lot of freezing rain I want to talk about there. Winter storm warning, eastern Oklahoma. It includes Tulsa. Ice storm warning in Fort Smith, where we've already been dealing with the problems like we showed you. Right now, it is still freezing rain with 32 degrees in Fort Smith, so we really have not seen the warm up. Little Rock, we're at 34. I mean, we're playing with degrees here. It's 1 or 2 degrees that we have available to us in the atmosphere, I think, right now. And if you don't get that, you're going to be looking at freezing rain. Look at St. Louis. We're still in freezing rain. Springfield, both Springfield, Missouri and Springfield, Illinois are dealing with freezing rain and temperatures right about 30 or 31 degrees. So interstates like 49 and 40 are both going to be impacted. If you're traveling, trying to make your way from Springfield to St. Louis, I wouldn't advise it. I would just wait till temperatures warm up a few more degrees later this afternoon on 44. It will be better than it is right now. We've had a lot of reports come in. Tewa, this is in Oklahoma, northeastern Oklahoma, 0.15. That starts to get up to the amounts that might cause some power outages. McAllister, we've had a bit more down there into southeastern Oklahoma. Right now, we're sitting again with temperatures at freezing in Fort Smith, Springfield sitting at 31. How is it going to change? So by lunchtime, now we're getting up to at least freezing, it looks like, in Springfield. Everyone else south of that should be above freezing by lunchtime. And then beyond that, I mean, we're going to keep going up. That's the direction we're going in. But, you know, just knowing the way freezing rain and often cold air works, it may take a little bit longer. So don't assume at 12:01 you can go out and your roads are going to be fine here. It can take a minute for road conditions to improve. Be extremely cautious. Southern Missouri in particular, look where we've got ice accretions coming in of 1/4 to 1/2 inch. And it's in those cases not just slick roadways, but we could be dealing with some power outages. You know, once we get into beyond 1/4 of an inch, some tree damage, also some power outages are possible here as well. So again, use caution today. Tomorrow will be a warmer day, but not today. And it's not a snow day, but an ice day for kids in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And Mike Seidel is live in Fort Smith. Mike, is this ice threat keeping people off the roads this morning?
Well, I can tell you one thing, they're not getting on the roads, and I would say...
Right now, we're starting off pretty dry, and we'll stay dry today in Pittsburgh and Binghamton. Maybe a little bit of snow around perhaps western New York, but I'll tell you, it's going to all change pretty quickly. So watch what happens tomorrow. We do get some snow. Buffalo, Binghamton, you've got that chance. You notice your temperatures, though. We're not stuck in the 20s, not even stuck in the low 30s. We're going to see temperatures 34 in Buffalo, and then we start warming up. Your forecast in Albany, New York, 37. So, yeah, we'll get some snow chances, but it's going to be kind of a wet, sloppy snow that winds up become slushy on the roads. Wednesday, we see a changeover to rain, and then it is rain as we get you into Thursday. And temperatures are warming beyond the 40s as we get you into Friday here in the Northeast. So for tomorrow, that's going to be the transition day. If you're traveling I-90, do be ready for wintry precip. But by the end of the day, we see that changeover. Some of you will get a little bit of time in freezing rain. There's not as much of that set up here in the Northeast as there is across the Great Lakes and the Western Lakes, I should say, and down across what we're dealing with right now in the mid-Mississippi Valley. But, you know, the Northeast is going to have our fair share of problems because we're bringing rain on top of a snowpack, and that's always a messy situation. Can cause some flooding concerns. Temperatures are warming up as well. Look at these 50s coming our way into D.C. So the spots to watch for some ice will be tomorrow, I think, here, and probably throughout the later hours tomorrow, and then into Wednesday up farther north. We've got these patchy areas of some light freezing rain. I mean, Interstate 80 is one that could be impacted. If you're traveling in northern Jersey, also here as well. And then up into New England, be ready. There's a period of time where we can have a little bit of ice out there, especially before the warm air really surges in at the end of the week, Alex. Now, in the south, everyone's warming up.